Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. As you may can hear it, I'm still fighting with my flu. It's now week number 3. I'm in my flu and it's not getting better, so we will see how it turns out. Anyway, if my voice is not working the way I wish it would, please bear with me. This week we were featuring Maxine Brown. Why Maxine Brown had the opportunity to change Motown's music history forever, and why a newspaper article in 1974 actually marked the end of her career. Well, we'll discuss this after the needle drops.
Helps me ease the pain. People, this hurt I feel inside. Words can never tell a world about it. I'm through crying all night long. Sure enough, who's gonna hold me tight all through the night to see me through? Whoa, I can't get along without. Whoa, but I'd still find a reason to believe.
I took a few needle drops from 2 of her albums because I couldn't decide which one to choose from, so you get a wider range of her musical works. But who is Maxine Ella Brown? Well, she was born in South Carolina and has her musical roots in gospel music. In 1960, she signed her first record deal with Norma Records, where she released 3 very successful singles, starting with All in My Mind, which was self-penned, followed by Funny, and her last one was Heaven in Your Arms. If you are successful, the bigger record companies get aware of you and they try to get you under their wings, and most of the time it works. So she signed in 1962 with ABC Paramount, where she released also a couple of singles. For example, Think of Me, After All We've Been Through, What I Don't Know. These singles weren't successful. So she switched labels again and got to Wham Records in 1962. In the same year, she switched back to ABC Paramount, where she released some more singles which weren't successful. So from 1963 on, she got to Want Records. And she stayed there till 1968. And at the beginning, everything seemed to be just perfect.
Max, I love that outfit. It really is. Don't you like that outfit? I mean, wow, it really looks good. What is that called? What's it called?
These are called mini culottes.
Mini culottes.
Yeah, and
Culottes are like pants.
My pants and the high boots.
Oh, that
what
looks
have you.
great.
Shall I model?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, it looks great. I really like it. Listen, you just finished playing the Apollo, right? And a good friend, right?
Right,
And,
from the Apollo, Milwaukee, and all across the country.
And a good friend of ours in Chicago. You played
Yes,
at Mr. Kelly's.
Mr. Kelly's.
Isn't he a doll, Mr.
Oh, he's
Randolph?
wonderful.
You're doing all those great clips now. Things are happening sensational for you.
Yeah, everything is beginning to break that way for me because, you know, I've been out here, this is for 6 years, rather. And now it's finally happening that way because most of the entertainers, you know, doing rock. They also do a few other things, and this is good. I think everybody's moving that way now.
Well, this business is called entertainment. That's the
right.
word, right?
That's the word I like.
Right. And you're doing great. Listen, what are you going to do?
This is her album released on Want Records, where also her hit singles were included, like All in My Mind and Funny, which were actually first released on Norma Records. So if you are not familiar with Want Records, they have this absolutely beautiful label with the stars, typical 60s, 50s design. I just love it. So also when she was staying with Want, she had 2 very successful singles by Goffin and King. The first one was Oh No, Not My Baby, and the second one was It's Gonna Be Alright. Oh No, Not My Baby featured Dee Dee Womack on the backing vocals. So what else happened? Well, you got 1964 a compilation album, which is actually a little fake because it says Maxine Brown and Irma Thomas, but if you expect many Maxine songs, there were just 4, and most of the songs were from Ronnie Dickinson. But anyway, Nice record. So, duets at that time in the 60s were very popular. So why not teaming up with Chuck Jackson, who was also an act on One Records. And together they released the single Something You Got. On many of Maxine's recordings, there were some backing vocalists I think you're quite familiar with. Didi Womack, we just heard about her, Cissy Houston, the Sweet Inspirations, and a young couple who also was very much into songwriting, but also could provide some great backing vocals. And this couple was named Ashford and Simpson. And they had written a couple of songs and saw the potential in Maxine and Chuck to develop more music into that direction. So what did they do? One Record was a sub-label of Skepta. And so they went to Skepta and said, hey, listen, we have a catalog. Yeah, you're interested in. We wrote some songs and you might think they could be successful. And they said, well, no, thanks. So Ashford and Simpson went to Berry Gordy, and the rest is history, because in that catalog were songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and Let's Go Get Stoned. Just two of the blockbuster hits they had on Motown. And now get yourself into the position of a singer where I'm pretty sure that they discussed the songs and that maybe Maxine encouraged them to go to the label boss and ask if he's interested in that material. So what happened was that Maxine left the label and then she released an absolutely fantastic album, Out of Sight, on Epic in 1968. And this is just an absolutely beautiful album. I can't praise it enough. She had absolutely talent, and it features an absolutely sweet version of Sunny, which was actually first released by Bobby Herb as an uplifting song. Very sad story behind that. I think it's a Northern Soul anthem. It's a soul anthem. Very sad story behind the Sunny song, but that was first released by him, and many other people covered it, but she made a beautiful version out of it. Anyway, this album was released and it didn't do so much. So during that time, Maxine did a lot of trips to the UK. She did a lot of club tours and all of that just to be in the business. So in the UK up to this point, she is very much cherished as one of the leading ladies of Northern Soul. Alright, in 1969, she released We'll Cry Together on the Commonwealth label, and it includes Darling Be Home Soon, Piece of My Heart. It's for me a more major album. It's more into the direction where the 70s led to. So I actually can't decide. It depends on the mood I'm in. I love both albums. So if you have the chance, go and check out both of her albums. These are fantastic. So she then went to AFCO label with less success, and pretty much she stayed she had bread and butter on the table because she did, again, those club tours and standouts. In an interview she said, I'm not disco. I can do pop, I can do soul, but I'm not disco. Which is not so good when you are right in the middle of the 70s. And also, during my research for this episode, I found a newspaper article stated back from 1974, August the 24th, 1974, where she was very openly talking about the record industry. And I put the link for the whole page in the description so you can download it and read it yourself, but that was a very tough move of her, because speaking of the music business and how it ripped you off is a problem. Because when producers and people from the industry read this, they will say, well, she's difficult, and you will be having problems getting a foot in that door. At that point, she was in Broadway in a musical called Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope. But I want to read you some sentences from that newspaper article, and you will see it on the screen, is that. On her way up, she said she experienced the way recording companies can rip off their artists, charging them for special expenses they didn't know about, like studio time and musical arrangements and musicians' time and advance on royalties. The system can wear you down if you let it beat you, she said. But if you come out of the ghetto, you want to get out so bad you won't let anything stop you once you get the chance. That's my drug, making it in show business without hurting people. Wow. So that was very tough from her to say, and I think she kind of knew at that time that it would be difficult for her to really get the mainstream success she wanted so desperately, and she also deserved, because she was absolutely talented. In 1983, she released an album, like I said, from 1969 to 1983. There was a long period of time where she wasn't really doing much. She released some singles from time to time, like I Can't Get Along Without You, or Picked Up, Packed Up and Put Away, Treat Me Like a Lady, but that really didn't do much. So in 1983, she released an album which was called Under the Influence, which didn't do much. And later on, she released her own album, which she produced herself and everything. That was in the 2000 years, but there was also something for the fans, and not really getting her into that success she, once again, said she deserves. So, ripped off by the music business, I can hardly be in her place and knowing that I was so close in getting blockbuster material, but maybe the songs wouldn't have been so successful if she would have done them. Maybe. We never know. But being ripped off by such chance, that's hard. But anyway, we have some of her material. She is still alive, which is, I think, fantastic. And I do hope that maybe she will come to Europe sometime. But anyway, if you have the chance, go and get her albums. You will find them on Spotify and on YouTube. So once again, thank you very much for watching. I'm wishing you guys a great, great week. Listen to good music, maybe Maxine Brown, and I'll see you next time. Bye.